Good morning students, this is your teacher Neelam Helawat and today we'll start with a new chapter, that is chapter 5, periodic classification of elements. Dear students, in this particular chapter we'll be talking about the Dobinus triads classification, the Newland's law of octaves, the Mendelev's classification, the modern periodic table, and the various atomic properties and their variation along the groups and the periods. Now to begin with students, let's suppose I am showing you a picture. Just look at the picture. These students, they are playing a puzzle. They have some parts of the map. Okay, they have some parts of the map and they are trying to fill these portions of the map to construct the entire piece. Okay, have you played this kind of game earlier? Okay, so they basically are having an old map and they are having bits of this map and they are putting those bits into specific places so that the entire map can be generated. Did you enjoy such activities? Yes, even I enjoy these activities. Okay, even small kids enjoy these activities. So basically they are arranging the right portions at the right place. इस particular activity में हम क्या करते हैं कि हम जो right piece होता है उसे हम correct जगह पर place करते हैं जिससे कि entire map generate किया जा सके. Right? And we have specific clues. Isn't it? Now, अगर हम entire map को generate करना चाहते हैं तो हमें desired place पर ही वो bit place करना होता है. Now, if we are not able to place, then we will not be able to generate the entire map. Is that okay? Yes. Now, this means we are particularly arranging the parts of the map. Okay. Same we do with the elements also. देखिए हम घर में भी, if you look at your shoe rack or you look at your cupboard, we arrange the definite, you can say your clothes at a specific place, your shoes at a specific place. If you look at your study table, again we place our notebooks at the desired places. Isn't it? So in our daily routine, we are in habit of placing or we are in habit of arranging the materials at their specific places. Right? Now, why do we arrange these materials? Can anybody of you tell me हम इन चीज़ों को उनकी desired place पर क्यों रखते हैं? Exactly, so that when we need them, we are able to get them. जब हमें उन चीज़ों की ज़रूरत है, तो without wasting time, we could easily reach them. We could easily get them. Now, same happens with your elements, right? And this process of arranging the bits into specific arrangement is called a classification. So classification is a grouping of similar elements together and separating them from the dissimilar elements. एक जैसी चीज़ों को एक जगह रखना और different elements को अलग अलग करना, ये हमारा classification का part है. And when we classify the elements, then we can easily study them. We can easily get them when we need. Okay, we can easily remember their properties. So classification makes our study easier. It helps us to remember. Okay. Now classification of elements. As I told you that classification is always based on the similarities and dissimilarities. Right? Now anybody can tell me what are the different kinds of elements that we know today? Right, there are 114 elements. Okay, there are 114 elements that have been discovered so far. Now to remember each element with its specific properties, it's a very difficult job. Okay, it is very difficult that you remember each and every element. Okay, so what we do, we categorize them, we classify them, and we remember the properties of a particular group. So if we remember the properties of a group, we can easily tell the properties of a particular element that belongs to that group. So 114 elements have been found so far. they have been classified, and they can be studied with ease. Anybody can study them within a short span of time. So this, you can say, the work of classification was not so easy as we are talking today. जितना आसान आज हमें लग रहा है, ये उतना आसान कभी नहीं था. Okay. Many scientists have made several attempts to classify elements depending upon their properties, and they try to arrange the elements out of chaos. So first we'll talk about some earlier attempts. Okay, the first attempt, which is considered to be a very significant one, was done by the Dobener's classification. So when the first classification attempt was done, there were 130 elements were known. So 30 elements were known at that point of the time. Okay, clear? So let's study the Dobener's classification. So Dobener, he arranged the elements. How many elements? 30 elements. So there were 30 elements which were known, and he arranged the elements in the increasing order of the atomic masses. So what was the criteria of the arrangement? It was increasing atomic mass. Okay, it was increasing atomic mass. So Dobener tried to classify the elements in the increasing atomic mass into specific groups, and there were 3 elements in a group. So that particular group was called as a triad. Okay, in a particular group there were 3 elements, and that particular group was called as a triad. So he arranged 3 triads. इन्होंने जो है 3 triads बनाए. Okay, कितने triads? 3 triads. Okay, let's discuss those triads first. The first triad was lithium, sodium, potassium. This was the first triad. Second was chlorine, bromine and iodine. And the third was calcium, strontium and barium. So there were 3 triads. He made 3 groups, and there were 3 elements in each group. So this was your triad 1, triad 2, triad 3. Okay. So first statement was that Mendeleev arranged the elements in the increasing atomic mass, and he arranged 3 elements in a group. Since there were 3 elements present in the group was called as a triad. Okay, I hope you understood this. Right. Second, he said, the second point was that in each triad, the middle element, the mass of the middle element was equal to the average atomic mass of the other 2 elements. The second point था कि जो बीच में जो element आता है, second देखिए, lithium, sodium, potassium, इसमें central atom आपका है sodium. Chlorine, bromine, iodine, this middle element is bromine. In calcium, strontium, barium, the strontium is the middle element. So he said the atomic mass of the middle element is the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of the other 2 elements. So अगर हम सोडियम को स्टडी करते हैं, so सोडियम का एटॉमिक मास लिथियम और पोटेशियम के एटॉमिक मास के एवरेज के बराबर होगा. This was what Dobener said. Let's calculate that then. Suppose the lithium atomic mass is 7. Potassium has atomic mass 39. Okay. Let's add it up. So 7, so atomic mass of the middle element will be equal to 7 plus 39 divided by 2. So that comes out how much? It is 46 by 2. So that comes as 23. Okay, and if you compare the mass of the atomic mass of the sodium, it is exactly 23. So what he said, that the atomic mass of the middle element is equal to the average of first and the third element. So when we calculate it, the atomic mass of the sodium is 23, and when we calculated the when we derived the mass of the sodium, it was also 23. So that is why the Dobener's classification was found to be exact. Right? So we can say all these metals, they are all metals. They react with water to form alkalis, and they have a valency of 1. Now similar we can do it with chlorine, bromine and iodine. ओके हम क्लोरीन और ब्रोमीन का भी एटॉमिक मास निकाल सकते हैं. क्लोरीन हैज़ एटॉमिक मास ऑफ 35, iodine has atomic mass of 127, so we divide it with 2 and that is atomic mass is 81, while the bromine has atomic mass of 80. Okay, so in the likewise we can calculate the mass of the middle element in all the three groups or all the three triads. But this classification, it failed. Can anybody give me an idea why this classification failed? Right, this classification failed because it could not classify all the 30 elements. When he classified, there were approximately 30 elements were known. This we had told in the beginning कि जब डॉबिनर ने क्लासिफिकेशन स्टार्ट किया तो 30 एलिमेंट्स नोन थे, तो वो सभी एलिमेंट्स को क्लासिफाई नहीं कर पाया. ही कुड ओनली क्लासिफाई 9 एलिमेंट्स. दैट इज़ वाई his periodic table it failed. So how many elements were classified by Dobiner? 3 elements. And how many triads were there? 3 triads were there, right? So that is why this periodic table, the Dobiner's classification, it failed. Now the second important and the significant classification was given by the Newland, and it is called as Newland's law of octaves. Okay, his classification is said to be Newland's law of octaves. This is exactly the table which he has made. Now he was an English scientist. Newland was an English scientist and he also arranged elements in the increasing atomic mass. इन्होंने भी जो है एलिमेंट्स को एटॉमिक मास के हिसाब से अरेंज किया. And he found a very interesting phenomena. He said that every 8th element repeats its properties. Every 8th element has a property similar to the first one. Let's understand this. Suppose करिए आपका हाइड्रोजन है, इसको हम फर्स्ट मान लेते हैं. So lithium is second, beryllium third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So 8th is your, what is the 8th element? Fluorine is your 8th element. So जो फ्लोरीन है देखिए उसकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ जो है लिथियम से मिलेंगी और फ्लोरीन की प्रॉपर्टीज़ क्लोरीन से भी मिलेंगी. सो ही सेड जो हर 8वां एलिमेंट पहले एलिमेंट से अपनी प्रॉपर्टीज़ रिजेंबल करेगा. एवरी 8th एलिमेंट will show the properties similar to the first one, and this he called as law of octaves. Okay, so what is the law of octaves? That every 8th element will have properties similar to the first one. Okay, likewise आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं लिथियम और सोडियम की प्रॉपर्टीज सेम होगी, बेरिलियम और मैग्नीशियम और कैल्शियम की प्रॉपर्टीज सेम होंगी बिकॉज दे विल ऑल्सो बी 8th एलिमेंट. Secondly, he said why he said that every 8th element will have similar properties, because he had arranged the elements in 7 groups. उसके periodic table में 7 groups थे. And he said, he gave a you can say he said that as there are, हिंदी में आपके पास 7 सुर होते हैं, सा रे गा मा पा, isn't it? There are 7, सा रे गा मा पा दा नी. Okay, sa is 8th is again the first one. So that is why he said जैसे कि हमारे सुर सेम होते हैं मेलोडी में, 7 होते हैं, 7 के बाद 8 वही फर्स्ट वाला होता है, तो सिमिलरली हमारे एलिमेंट्स भी प्रॉपर्टीज़ को रिपीट करते हैं. एवरी 8th एलिमेंट हैज़ अ प्रॉपर्टी सिमिलर टू दी फर्स्ट वन. ओके, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज लॉ ऑफ ऑक्टेव्स. Now this Newland basically used 2 criteria for the classification. One is that it contain elements from hydrogen to thorium. ठीक है, इन्होंने हाइड्रोजन से थोरियम तक क्लासिफिकेशन किया. So basically if we calculate the number of elements, okay, if we calculate the number of elements, so he classified how many elements? Yes, 56 elements. So Newland classified 56 elements. Thorium is a 56th element. And second, he said that every 8th element has properties similar to the first one. This is exactly what I showed you. You can have this is the table Newland's octave, which is there in NCERT also. So there are 7 groups: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups. The first group is called Sa, second group is called Re, third is called Ga, ma, pa, da, ni. So there are 7 groups. If you look at the first group, see, there is hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, cobalt, and nickel and bromine. Second has lithium, sodium, potassium, copper, rubidium. Okay. Now if you look at the second group, देखिए lithium, sodium, potassium. Anything that you remember? Lithium, sodium, potassium आपके Dobener's classification में भी थे. Yes or no? Yes. So they were also present in the Dobener's classification. So हम कह सकते हैं Dobener's classification was also present in Newland's law of octaves. Okay, it was also present in Newland's law of octaves. Clear? But this concept also failed. Newland का classification भी fail हो गया. Why it failed? He said that every 8th element has properties similar to first one. So this law was only applicable up to calcium. ये first 20 group elements पर applicable था. This rule was only applicable up to first 20 elements. Okay, so Newland's law of octave was applicable up to calcium. After that, there was no repetition of properties. Secondly, as I told you that he classified 56 elements. Newland ने जो है 56 elements को classify किया, तो he assumed that there will be only 56 elements in nature and afterwards no other element will be discovered. तो न्यूलैंड ने ये मानकर क्लासिफाई किया कि 56 एलिमेंट्स हैं और सदा के लिए 56 एलिमेंट्स ही होंगे, इसके बाद कोई और एलिमेंट डिस्कवर नहीं किया जाएगा. सो दिस वाज अनदर फेलियर. एंड द थर्ड वाज, इफ यू लुक एट द न्यूलैंड्स टेबल, देखिए यहाँ पे हमने देखा 2 एलिमेंट्स एक ही लेवल पर हैं, हियर ऑल्सो, हियर ऑल्सो. सो इन हिज टेबल ही अरेंज्ड 2 एलिमेंट्स इन द सेम स्लॉट. उन्होंने एक ही स्लॉट में 2 एलिमेंट्स को प्लेस कर दिया. एंड मोर ओवर दीज 2 एलिमेंट्स दे हैड कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टीज़. ये जो कोबाल्ट और निकल हैं, इनकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ आयरन से मिलती है. दीज 2 डू नॉट हैव, देयर प्रॉपर्टीज़ डू नॉट रिजेंबल हाइड्रोजन, फ्लोरीन, क्लोरीन, जिसकी ग्रुप में इसे रखा गया है. देखिए हाइड्रोजन, फ्लोरीन और क्लोरीन इस ग्रुप में है. कोबाल्ट एंड निकल डू नॉट शो सिमिलर प्रॉपर्टीज़ टू दैट ऑफ हाइड्रोजन, फ्लोरीन एंड क्लोरीन. They show similar properties to that of the iron. So iron से उन्हें separate कर दिया गया और ऐसे ग्रुप में रखा गया जिनसे उनकी properties entirely different थी. So this was another drawback. Okay, that he separated the elements which had similar properties and put them into separate groups. Okay, so iron की property कोबाल्ट से मिलती थी, तो iron को उसने अलग ग्रुप में रखा, कोबाल्ट और निकल को अलग ग्रुप में रखा. Okay. Now coming to homework, dear students, first of all you will make notes of this topic, right? And you will read the page number 79 to 81. And if there is any doubt, any query, anything that you feel that you need to discuss with me, you can send your queries to me on my personal number. Okay, everyone? So that's all for today. Bye everyone.